I still remember the sound of the door closing behind her. Not loud, no slamming thunder, no rattling hinges, but final, like a judge's gavel sealing a verdict. My wife stood there in the hallway, trembling, her mascara streaked tears carved trails down her face, and in her shaking hand was a single folded piece of paper. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't scream, just whispered, "I can't do this. You got my sister pregnant." And in that moment, a lie became a weapon. Sharp, cold, deliberate, and she plunged it straight into my chest. There were no questions, no hesitation, no pause to ask why, just judgment, swift and merciless. That night, she packed her life into suitcases while I sat on the couch like a statue. Not because I was guilty, but because I finally realized who I had allowed into my home. Her sister, Lena. The same Lena I had let stay in our guest room for a few weeks after a rough breakup. The same Lena whose tuition I'd been quietly paying because no one else in her family believed she could make something of herself. The same Lena who, week after week, slowly sunk her claws into every corner of our lives like smoke creeping under doors. She used to call me brother. She called me far worse after I stopped paying. I met Mira 6 years ago. She was untamed, fire, wrapped in grace, beautiful, unpredictable, the kind of woman who made the world feel alive. With her, home wasn't a place, it had a heartbeat. We built everything from scratch. A tiny apartment with walls that echoed laughter, nights of cheap wine and big dreams. She studied nursing, and I paid the bills. Rent, groceries, electricity, I handled it all because I wanted her to fly without looking down. I thought we were a team. Then Lena moved in. Mira pleaded. I agreed. It was supposed to be temporary. Lena arrived like a shadow, quiet, polite, reserved. Then came the late-night wine sessions between the sisters. Whispers, jokes, passive barbs that stung more. Then they admitted, "Your husband's too quiet." It's kinda creepy, right? Smirks, giggles. Still, I let it slide. Family, I told myself. She's just being annoying. What I didn't see was the web she was weaving behind every glass of wine, behind every whispered joke. Poison disguised as bonding, manipulation masquerading as sisterhood. The envelope arrived one afternoon. No return address, just a single sheet of paper. On it my name, Lena's name, and an ultrasound. A cheap fake, but convincing enough. Mira found it in the mailbox. I walked in to find her pale and shaking, clutching it like it was a death certificate. "You're disgusting," she spat. "Don't even try to deny it. Lena showed me your texts, said you threatened her to keep quiet." And that was the moment when something inside me stopped bleeding and started burning. Because I wasn't just hurt, I was awake. I didn't chase her, didn't argue, didn't call Lena. I sat in the quiet and began to plan. Step 1. I turned off the money. Lena's tuition? Gone. The utilities I had quietly been paying for both sisters? Disconnected. The rent I had covered for their shared apartment? Cancelled. Lena thought Mira was paying for everything. Mira assumed we were splitting things like equals. But it had been me, all along. And now it was no one. Step 2. I called in a favor. An old friend in cybersecurity. Discreet, thorough. I gave him Lena's name and a burner phone she'd once left unlocked around me. What he found made my skin crawl. There were no messages from me but dozens of drafts. Messages Lena had typed to herself from fake numbers. Never sent, just stored, like staged evidence waiting to be weaponized. "I miss you. You know it's yours. I can't hide this anymore." Lies. All of them. Even the pregnancy report? Forged. Sloppy too. A $29 fake pulled off a shady certification website. My friend traced the watermark like peeling back skin. Lena had orchestrated the whole thing, and Mira had swallowed it whole. So I waited 6 weeks, enough time for bills to pile, for Lena to squirm, for Mira's bank account to start overdrafting without the invisible hand keeping it afloat. Then, I moved. Mira's college account? Closed. The student loan I'd been quietly paying off month after month, unpaid. The collector calls started. Lena? Evicted. She ran crying to Mira asking for money, but Mira was broke too. Turns out, affection dries up quickly when the fridge is empty and the Wi-Fi's gone. They moved in with their mother. Tension rising, resentment growing. And then, I lit the match. I printed everything. Lena's fake messages, screenshots, the forged report with the $29 receipt from the scam website, her search history phrases like "how to fake pregnancy report," "revenge on married man," get man kicked out. I burned it all onto a USB, wrapped it in a folder. On the front, I wrote by hand, "Truth has teeth." I didn't call, didn't send a text. I dropped it in Mira's mailbox and let the silence do what screaming never could. 2 days later, she showed up at my office. She looked hollowed out, pale, shaking. "I didn't know," she whispered. I thought I was protecting myself." I tilted my head. "From who? The man who paid your tuition, or the woman who faked a pregnancy and stole your life?" Tears welled in her eyes. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. "No," I said. "You sentenced me without trial." You handed her the knife and turned away while she stabbed me. I was scared. "No," I said, voice even. "You were stupid." That night, Lena called me, screaming, cursing. "I lost everything because of you." I smiled. "You never had anything. You just stole what wasn't yours. And now you're left with exactly what you deserve." Click. They both tried to come back. Lena first, then Mira, one desperate, the other drowning in guilt. I let neither in. I bought a new apartment. Quiet, minimal, mine. It's strange, I used to think revenge would feel like fire, like rage and broken glass. But it doesn't. It's colder. Like ice water sliding down your throat, numbing everything in its path. But there's a certain peace in knowing that you didn't have to scream to be heard. You just had to wait long enough for the silence to echo. They tried to ruin my life. Instead, I let them watch it move on without them. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most elegant revenge of all.